This is a follow-up to my earlier post. I called Lorex. They sent me some instructions which were, I was led to believe, were beyond the normal manual instructions on voice activation, but they were pretty worthless. I thought there was going to be some trick to it, but it just told me what I already knew. So here I am documenting that it's still a problem. Right now I've turned off the other camera. I've power cycled the first camera and the monitor here in power, and just totally turned off the second camera. So if I go to channel 2, it's not there. So channel 1, right now there's nobody in the room, the door's shut. If I go in here and turn the voice activation to the loudest noises are necessary, and so even if somebody was walking down the hall, it wouldn't trigger it. And nobody's up there, they're all eating breakfast downstairs. So here we go. Okay, it's turning off. And look, it came back on. Exactly like it always does. Here. Okay, here I am right outside the door. Signal is excellent. Still on channel 1. Channel 2 is still non-existent. Highest level setting of voice activation, so that the loudest noises should make a change. I'll even set it to kind of a medium level. And we'll see that it will still flick off and come right back on every time. Here we go. Once we confirm it's looping, I will go into room number 2 and see if I can trigger it. I know it's on high necessity, but no. Okay, so 1 is... So this is room number 2. And... Oh, it's not in focus in the camera here. Okay, so room number 1 is still... Here's the camera. You can see all the IR LEDs lit up. This top one should turn green. I don't know if it'll show up if it makes connection. Okay, it did. It took over. So now, oh, but now room number 1 took right back over. I'm in room number 2. Hello? Hello? It won't pick me up yelling at it. Now I'm hitting it. Still, this should make it take over, and you'll see we're still on room number 1. Yeah, you can't see it on the video, but I can see it on the monitor. It's looping on room number 1. Otherwise, you'd be able to see me in the monitor if it picked up room number 2. Here I go again. Oh, it did. I just turned green. You can see it there. Now it's actually picked me up in this room. Alright, but now it goes back to room number 1. Well, there, across the hall, is room number 1 with the door shut and nobody in it. On the monitor, you can see the insides of room number 1, and it keeps looping and looping and looping. And room number 2 sometimes picks up and changes like it just did there. So it works this one time. Many times you can bang on this monitor, the microphone unit, all you want, and it won't even switch over to this room. So today we're lucky enough that it's kind of working, but still, if I'm quiet in here, we'll see room number 1 will pop up. Hey, now we got room number 2. Maybe room number 2 is going to loop. That's room number 2. I modify its view by banging on it. And it won't turn off. It won't even halfway turn off. It's It's on Vox. You can see it up in the corner. Room number 2. There's no sound in there, otherwise you would see the bars. And I have it on the lowest sensitivity, which is the highest amount of bars. It means the loudest noise is required. Well, I guess we can try and see if room number 1 turns it on. Here we're in room number 1. Room number 1 did click it on. So room number 1 did its function. Now it should turn off. But it keeps turning back on. There's nobody in there. You were in there with me. I just shut it. And there's no bars of activity on the sound meter. And it'll just keep looping and looping and looping. Okay, here we are, room number 2. Looping. There's nobody in there. The sound meter's not showing anything. It's on the lowest sensitivity. Oh, there was one bar just showed up because my kid made a noise in the hallway. So that's him putting one bar on there from outside, but I've got mine set to lowest sensitivity. So now if he's quiet, we'll see that room number 2 will not go into standby. Keeps popping back out. And I got full bars of signal. Okay, I'm in room number 1. Room number 2 is stuck on the monitor, looping. Room number 1, there it is. Double red LED. I'm thumping on the wall next to it, and anything? No. Okay, that should be enough to set it off, and that thing would have turned green, but we're still stuck on room number 2 where there is no noise. So a child could be screaming in room number 1 in this crib, and the monitor will not alert, even though both cameras are set to voice activation. So I have no answers. Oh, hey, look, it just clicked over to room number 1, which I am in. There's the crib. So I didn't even thump on the wall or pound on the unit. Now, of course, it should loop in room number 1. Oh no, look, room number 1 actually finally went to standby. I'm not being loud enough to trigger it because I have it on the lowest sensitivity. There, now I triggered it. But I'll be very quiet and I won't say a thing in here. Just looped. It just looped.